Hello, my name is Tony Mike. How does Japan balance modern technology with the preservation of ancient culture? Is what we will be talking about today. On my trip to Japan in the Tales of Japan EFTours trip, it took place from June 2nd to June 10th. We went to Tokyo and stayed there for 3 days. And we also went to Kyoto for 3 days, and were Shizuoka and Osaka for 1 day each. All places were great. Now there's a lot of historical sites in Japan. In fact, around 1900 historical sites were reported in Japan in November 2024. They're the third most toured country in the world, behind France and the USA. Examples of popular historical sites include Menji Castle, Osaka Castle, Kirashi Temple, etc. Japan is one of the most technologically advanced countries. They use bullet trains. A lot of countries do not have bullet trains. They have over 5 million vending machines, which make them first per capita in the entire world, with one vending machine for every 23 people. They also have high-tech automated toilets and some of the best internet connectivity in the world. As I go walk in big cities, and when I do fine, I can walk to other places, not get lost because of that service. In the Royal Hotel, I wore a yukat, had a traditional meal, and I also slept on a futon. But in that same hotel, there are elevators and electric kettle. I don't really like tea. And speaking of tea, there was a lot of tea, like a lot. And there was also a TV, which would kind of work. And the mini mart in the hotel, which had a few nice selection of food and souvenirs, but I didn't get anything from there. And our tour guide used wireless microphones to describe historical sites. There were stands of modern food being sold at historical sites. And I used my phone to translate Japanese text like this, or Japanese text on the toilet so I could figure out what buttons were, or in Japanese text on my food so I could figure out what flavor the food was. We built a train. It was like a plane ride, but it was a lot better, you know. My friends were sitting in front of us, and they were able to move the seat around. That's pretty cool. And it was way better than the subways, which we had to stand for 30 minutes with our backpacks in front of us. That's really uncomfortable. While in the hotels, we watch baseball, because all the other channels are news channels. I don't really watch the news anyways. I wouldn't normally watch baseball, but really every other channel was news. We rode a cable car up a mountain, but unfortunately I didn't get any pictures of it because it was very crowded in there. And the tour is very complicated. I personally think American tours are better. They're a lot more simple. And in Kyoto, I had an ice cream with whipped cream, banana slices, cherry, some cereal, fudge. It was one of the best ice creams I've ever had. In Kyoto, and there were also really good snacks at historical sites, but there were also really good snacks at big cities too. In Osaka, it was raining so bad that nearly everyone went to the store to buy umbrellas. Japan, like I said before, Japan is a really technologically advanced country. It's also rich in cultural history, and it protects its historical sites under the law for the protection of cultural properties. Examples of modern technology and ancient culture blending include vending machines, being at historical sites, and using technology to preserve historical sites. And both of them help them make money, and both of them help them attract tourists. But Japan doesn't just keep these historical sites for tourists. They also keep them for their tradition and their history. You always want to push technology forward, and Japan is pushing technology forward. There are many instances where modern technology and ancient culture combine. Japan is a good example of how to balance. During our visit to Japan, we witnessed the preservation of ancient culture in many places. We also saw a lot of modern architecture, and we can definitely see that the Japanese value their culture. They also have way more advanced. They're a lot more advanced than most countries. They're modern technology. And this is a USB adapter for Japanese people. If that's not modern culture and ancient technology blended, I don't know what is. And these are my references. Thank you for listening to my presentation.